Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, it's a pretty small group today because this is a repeat training. But if anyone has a question, go ahead and just feel free to interrupt me. Since there's so few of you today, that shouldn't be an issue. We're going to go over these smart campaigns and the templates and kind of how you can utilize that for your both your automated texting, your mass emailing, and how the templates can go into your smart campaigns. So let me go ahead and share my screen here with you. Get that pulled up. Okay, so now you should all be able to see the My Weichert dashboard. Are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to assume the silence means yes, you can see my screen and go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a smart campaign. So let me go ahead and pull that up. To get to your smart campaigns from your dashboard, you're going to go down here. You're going to click on your marketing autopilot. And then you can see right here where it says smart campaign. Now, this trips people up a little bit because where it says start a campaign, that's actually where you're going to go to just kind of view your campaign library and also edit your campaigns. So by clicking this button, you're not actually committing yourself to starting a campaign. So don't worry, nothing is going to automatically go out for you. So to go ahead and view basically what is your campaign library and menu, you're going to click where it says start a campaign. I know the terminology there is a little bit confusing. Okay, so automatically you should see this KV Core library popping up. And you do have to give it a couple seconds. It will then pull your My Library up. So what this library consists of is everything that's been created by Weichert. So as I'm scrolling, you can see these ones with the locks on them. These are all Weichert generated smart campaigns, and they're going to automatically apply not to your private contacts, but to people that are coming over via Weichert Lead Network. And so unfortunately, since they do have a lock and they are for Weichert clients and they are Weichert owned, you can't actually remove or delete these smart campaigns. They have to stay in place, unfortunately, and you don't have the ability to go in and edit or remove that campaign from your library entirely. You can also see there's an open house campaign. You can see right here I have a few test ones that I've built out in the past. So if you are going in here and creating your own campaigns, you're going to see those populating in your library as well. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other ones at the end. So you can see there are more campaigns here created by Weichert that don't have the icon locked. It's a little padlock, but it's unlocked. So that means that you can remove people from these campaigns, add people to these campaigns. You can go in and copy this one and edit it. So it is created by Weichert, but you do have the option to customize who is receiving these and what is actually lying on the campaign. Okay, so looking a little bit further into your library menu, you can see the campaign description and when it starts and who it's designed for. So this is just going to explain to you kind of what the campaign is for. So let's, for example, say you have someone who is the deal type of a renter and their status is a client. They're going to receive this Weichert client renter. This next column is going to break it down a little bit further, telling you when people are of this status and the source is not a Weichert lead, so it's someone that you've added to your CRM on your own. That's what is going to trigger this campaign to start running. And then this gets a little kind of repetitive here. It's for a renter, and these are all going to be task items. So that means that it's going to be something assigned to you to do. So either it's going to prompt you to give that person a call or prompt you to send them an email. It's not going to do it automatically. And then you can see even how many tasks are going to pop up in this campaign. So Daphne asks, is there a situation where a campaign would go out on your behalf without you causing it to go out? Yes and no. So anything that is a Weichert owned lead, so anything that's coming in through Weichert Lead Network, for example, those are all going to be automatically assigned smart campaigns that you really don't have the ability to remove or change. Since they are Weichert leads, Weichert wants them dealt with in a certain way, and unfortunately we have to leave them at that point. When you are adding in your own clients and your own contacts, you shouldn't see, as long as you have your campaigns turned off. So let's say you were to add in, we'll just use that example again, you were to add in a renter. Where's that campaign at? So this one right here. If you had someone on your list that you were uploading and their status was a renter and they were being uploaded, then yes, if you had this turned on, it would automatically go out. But say in my case right now, if I was to add renters to my CRM and I didn't have this turned on in the first place, then no, it's not going to go out. So if I wanted it to, you can see when you toggle it on, it's going to turn blue over here, and it's going to ask you if you want to want people to be assigned this campaign as you're adding them. Now, I know in the past we've had a little bit of an issue with these triggering automatically in a way that they're not supposed to, despite this being turned off. I've been told that that has been cleared up at this point. But for those of you that are maybe getting ready to add contacts and you're still kind of hesitant about things automatically going out, just based on, you know, what it was doing back in December when we first got this program, the best way to navigate around that is to put everyone in as a closed for their, their status. If you put them in as closed and then their deal type as renter, buyer, whatever, the deal type isn't going to make too big of a difference here. As long as you put them in as closed, there shouldn't be anything automatically triggered to be sent out to them. And then as you interact with your clients and start going through your system here and determining who you're going to do business with going forward, then you can start changing their deal type and status to something that maybe fits them a little bit better. And that's only in the case that you're worried about things going out automatically. I haven't seen that being an issue the last month and a half, but if you're still a little bit hesitant, I totally understand, and that's kind of just a way to get around it. So I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but I hope that was specific enough. But anyway, moving forward here, so the campaigns, I'm going to go to one that I've already edited. So let's say you were to, you know what, I take that back. Let's go back to these Weichert ones and I'll show you how you can edit these campaigns that Weichert has built for you. So let's go ahead. We are going to pick, let's do the open house campaign because a lot of people are going to want to be using this one anyway. So if you want to view this campaign in greater detail, I know this is kind of just like an overview in this info right here, but you want to see exactly what points of communication are happening with that client. To do that, you're going to click on the title over here. And then it's going to pull this screen open for you. And you're going to be able to see the time and day that the communication is going out. So you can see hour 4, their client is going to receive the email that is automatically designated for open house. You can see what contact method that is. So it's an email being assigned from the agent to the contact. So these ones are going to be ones that go directly out to the client. So from agent to contact, it's going to automatically start going. If you scroll down a little bit farther here, you can see call open house attendee, and this is from the system to the agent. That's how you're going to be able to tell that this point of contact isn't going out to the client automatically. It's being generated in the system, in our MyWeichert system, and then prompting you as an agent to call them. So that's where you're going to get some of those automatically generated calls that I'm sure some of you have received, where it's asking you if you want to be in touch with this person and press 2 to reach out to them. That's the system prompting you to give them a call. Okay, so once you've gone through and you can kind of see all the different points of communication here, let's say you wanted to edit this and you maybe, you know, this many points of contact isn't necessarily how you prefer to do business. If you want to edit this campaign at all, in order to do that, you're going to have to make a clone of it. So we're going to go over here right under the title of the Smart Campaign, and where it says clone, we're going to click here. We are going to go ahead and leave this as is because we do want this open house campaign to trigger, and you can see this is going to explain to you how and where this is going to trigger. So when the source of your contact is coming from your open house app, that's this first line here, and the status of that contact is a new lead, which through your open house app, they should all be assigned that. And then same with status is prospect. So if they come in from your open house app as either a new lead or a prospect, that is when they're going to receive this communication. So we're going to leave that this way because an open house app, that's really the best practice for that. So we're going to hit next. The campaign is designed for a buyer because this is an open house campaign. If you were editing a different type of campaign and you wanted to change this or those other triggers, you can certainly do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as buyer and hit next. And this is where you're going to want to make a little bit of customization here. So under your campaign name, you can leave it where it says copy and be able to tell that since it's a copy, it's the one that you've created. Best practice here and just ease of access for you is to skip ahead to the very beginning. Go ahead and put your initials in and then Weichert Open House. That way, when you're in your campaign library, you can actually search for your initials. In my case, it'd be DW. And then it's going to pull up every campaign that you've created or edited, and then you can navigate your way down from there. So it's just going to be easier for you in the future to pull up all the ones that you've made edits to. Okay, so always run, that's going to make that little toggle that I was showing you guys earlier where you could turn things on and off. That's going to make that toggle turned on. And locked, we don't want to lock it because it's our own campaign, so we don't need to worry about that too much. And then we're going to hit next. This is just a screen to make us verify our information. And then we're going to do clone campaign. And now we're going to be able to go in and make edits to that one we've just created. So Daphne asks, what I'm demonstrating can all be done through the app on your smartphone as well. No, unfortunately not. So these bulkier portions of my Weichert, you actually have to do on the desktop version. I know that on your tablets and on your phones, there's an option on the My Weichert app to view the web version of My Weichert. And so I suppose you could get to it that way, but it's going to be kind of a headache to navigate it in that way. It's going to be way easier for you to make these edits on an actual desktop. In fact, I would just discourage you from even using the web version of the site on mobile just because it's not formatted well and it's going to just add a lot of confusion to everything. So always when you're making edits to or creating a smart campaign, definitely do it on your laptop or whatever computer that you're using. Okay, so now we can go ahead and start editing our campaign. You can see campaign is active. We want to turn that on so that our open house clients are receiving it. And then we can go ahead and start eliminating some of these touch points. So maybe I don't want to follow up with them, 1, 2, 3 days in a row, just because maybe I feel like that's overbearing. I can go ahead and say, maybe I'll give them a day off, and day 2, instead of reaching out to them, I'll just do days 1 and day 3. So to delete those, all you have to do is just click this little X here. So it gets a little more complicated when you want to actually edit what is being said in that email. So by clicking edit here, and this is why it's tricky, you can't actually edit the text. So you can view the template, you can rename the template, but anything that's actually happening in the body of this email, you can't edit from this screen. The reason for this is because these templates might be used in several different smart campaigns. So if you were to edit it here, you might unknowingly change it in a different campaign, and then you're going to have this communication going out that doesn't necessarily make sense on a smart campaign that you didn't realize that you accidentally did. So you can view the template. Again, you can change the name just within the campaign. So maybe it's easier for you to determine what this is when you're looking at it by saying this is day 3 email about meeting them at open. So this, there's no set parameters as to how you're naming this. It's really just to help you in order to navigate your campaign a little bit better when you're going in and editing and trying to determine if you want to make edits to it. Okay, so all of this is going to stay pretty much the same. You can see here, if you wanted to, instead of going out 4 hours after the open house, you can change that. You can change it to days after the open house. The default is 4 hours after, but let's say we want this to run 1 day after the end time of the open house. We can do that and then click update. And then you'll see on this day 1, obviously I've named it incorrectly. I have day 3 here, but I have made the edit so that instead of 4 hours after the campaign, it's the day after happening. Again, you can use this method to edit any campaign in any touch point in any campaign. This is just as an example to show you where to go to do that. Okay, so we're going to add one more layer of confusion to this. I know that smart campaigns are kind of a bulky subject that a lot of people still struggle with, understandably so. So speaking of those templates, how I mentioned earlier that we can't actually edit them from our campaign editing screen here. Reason again being, if you edit your template in this campaign, well, that template might also be used in a different campaign, and then you're kind of confusing the system and your campaigns are getting screwed up and you don't realize it. So in order to create or edit a template, you have to go actually over here to where it says templates, and you're going to be transferred to an entirely new library. So we're going to click here. And we're going to give it just a second to load. Okay, and so from here, you can see all of the templates that exist on your system are going to populate, and there are a lot of them. There's almost 250, but you can actually narrow these down. So let's say that you're searching for a specific email template. If you click where it says email, okay, so I guess there's 250 emails. So let's see how many text messages there are. Okay, so again, there's a lot of templates. So there's 250 just solely based off of emails, 115 texts. There's a ton that you can choose from here. Let's go ahead and we're going to select email. So now you've got a couple of options here. Let's say in your campaign, you're just totally unhappy with the template that exists there and you don't even want to edit it. You just want to delete it and create your own. You can certainly do that. We can go where it says add template right here. And we're going to click on that button, and let's say we want to add an email template, and then it's going to pull this screen up for you. This is automatically going to default to your own MyWhiteGirt credentials. So ignore what I'm doing right now because it's automatically going to say your name when you go in and do this. And so for the template, we're going to just pretend that we're still working in that open house one. Let's say day of open house, hour 4. Subject, we'll say thanks for joining me at my open house. And then in here, you would go ahead and determine what you want to say to your client. So you would do the body of your email here. You would maybe do your signature down here. Again, this is totally up to you and how you prefer to interact with your clients. One neat thing to keep in mind here, and I can, if you get to this point while you are doing your smart campaigns or creating templates and you have more questions about this, definitely feel free to reach out to me or Jacinta here shortly. But there are things called merge tags that you can use both in your emails and your text messages. And so what that is it will automatically pull that person's information. So let's say you wanted to type an email, but in each email you wanted to say hello to that person's first name. So hello, John, hello, Jane, what have you. So you would do hello and then insert a merge tag. It's this little icon that looks like a sun. And it would be the leads first name. So you're going to get this whole menu here. There's a ton of different tags you can put in. You can even do merge tags for your signature. But for the lead, we are going to select their first name. And then when you see it showing up in these squiggly brackets, you're going to see when that email goes out, it'll say, "Hello, John." Okay, so we have completed that. So we're going to go ahead and add this template. And now this template is going to exist in my template library. So from here, we can then insert it into our campaign. Let's go ahead and we will just search for that, that template we just created. And I've already forgotten what I named it. Okay, so it's this one right here, Day of Open House, Hour 4. This is the one that I just created. Now you'll notice on the ones that you are making, you're gonna have the option to go in and edit them if you want to tweak them a bit. The ones that are created by the company or by MyWiker, you're gonna have the option to clone if you wanna just kind of take what they've done and maybe make a few tweaks. And then you would do the same thing as you've done with your smart campaigns and just name it maybe with an initial so you can find it quickly. But we're gonna just reference this Day of Open House, Hour 4 one that we just made. And now that that is done, we can actually go back to our campaign library. There's a lot of flipping back and forth between the two libraries. It gets a little bit confusing. And we're gonna give it a minute to load. Okay, so now we can see this open house campaign. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a click. And now maybe I wanna delete this one out that was the one the system is creating. I'm gonna remove that. And then to add the one that we just created or edited in, we're gonna go to Add Action. We're gonna add email, and then we're gonna find that template. So I had named Day of Open House, Hour 4. Then you can view your template here, see that it looks all correct to you, and then click Add, and you will see it. Oh, just kidding, we forgot to do a step here. So we want that Hour 4. Again, this is just as an example in this specific smart campaign, but you can apply this method of editing a template and adding it to a campaign on any campaign that you are doing. Must provide a name. Okay, so sorry, again, I'm skipping over steps here. So the name, again, is going to be how you are seeing it in your smart campaign. For me, it makes most sense in my mind to do just what the template name is exactly, because I know what is on the templates that I'm creating. So I'm just going to leave the name of this action as the name of the template, just because for me, that's easier to refer to it that way. If you have a different method of thinking or you have a different way that you like to do this, again, that is totally up to you. Okay, let's see if I did all my necessary steps. Okay, perfect. So now you can see the template that I created is now living in that smart campaign, and it is the first touch point here. I think I saw a question come in. Does it save automatically? Are you referring to the template or the smart campaign? The template. Okay, so good question. We'll go back and I will show you what I had done. So I'm going to go ahead and just clone one of these. And so you can see here, let's say I'm making edits to a clone. Again, I'm going to go ahead and do a GW here. Again, this is going to automatically be you. But when you get down to the bottom of where you're creating or editing your template, you can do clone template down here, or on one that you're creating, that's going to say save template. So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll do example, subject example, just to show you what we're doing. And you can see right here, that green button is going to be add template, and that is going to be what saves it to your template library. Okay, so back to the smart campaign. Again, giving it a second to load. Okay, so we're going to go back to our open house campaign here. Okay, and you can see the edits I've already made. again, that's kind of it as far as it goes, editing here and adding templates in. You can add more actions if you want. You can delete, and once it looks good to you and to your liking, you can go ahead and activate your campaign. I wouldn't suggest activating it until you're happy with the way it looks, just because in the chance that you are creating it for the open house, you don't want it to run if you're not totally happy with the way things are looking and the way your emails are worded. So wait until you are totally certain that your campaign looks the way you want to. Click campaign active, and then it should be in your library. We'll go back to our campaign library here. Again, bear with me while this loads. I know every time we switch back to the screen, we have to wait on it to reload. Okay, so then you can see I have that campaign when I toggled it to active after I made sure all my edits were completed. You can see now that it's highlighted blue here, and that means that anytime someone comes into your open house, registers on your app, then they're going to, 4 hours after, they're going to start this campaign getting the touch points for it. Okay, so there's actually one other place where we can use the templates that we're creating. So let's say you didn't want to mess around with the campaigns at all, but maybe you want to send out like a monthly newsletter, or you want to just have like a automatic template that you have created to do mass text, prospecting for clients. You can actually go into your Smart CRM and use your templates there as well. So once you get to your Smart CRM, and again, my whiteboard and our loading screens here, we just have to wait on it to pull up. I'm on our Whitecurt Guest Network, so it's not always the quickest. Okay, so to use those templates in both a mass email and a mass text is pretty simple. All you have to do is select whoever you want. So if you want to send it to all of your contacts, you can do this little checkbox here, and it's going to pick everyone. One thing to keep in mind is that when you are doing the mass emails, in order to stay compliant with different spam laws, it's going to limit you to doing 100 emails at a time. So if you're someone that has 1,500 people in your database, it's going to take you a little bit longer because you're going to have to, here we'll go this way. So you can do view 100 people, 100 rows, so that's going to be 100 different contacts. And then you would go through on each screen. So you would have to do it 15 times. I know is a pain, but it's just in order to keep us compliant and make sure that you guys don't get knocked with any fines or any annoyed people that are thinking that you're spam. You're going to have to select this name, and you can see it's selecting all 100 on this page. And then you would have to, on the next one, you'd say, I want to go to page 2. And then you would repeat the process, but with the page 2 contacts. Okay, so let's get back to the top of our screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all my people here. To add your templates, you're going to go to mass email, and you have the option here to either just go ahead and type out a quick mass email if it's just to that 100 people and you don't necessarily have a template created. You can feel free just to type it out here, or what we can do is go into our custom or our template library, and you can search for a template that you have created. So let's just go ahead. I have one here, ask for referrals. You can see it's an email prospecting our former clients to send me their referrals. Again, that's just as an example. You could create any template you wanted to and insert it in here, and you would create that template exactly the same way that we did when we were working with the campaigns. You're just going to go to your template library, add a template, and then create from there. And you can use those same templates here. So you would just select from your template list. You can even edit, so you can see this template has this subject line per the template that I created, but maybe if when you're sending out this email, you want to maybe do it a little bit differently, you can change it up here. And so this is going to be your subject line when you send the email out. This is going to be the content. If you have your signature set up in your agent bio, you can click here and it's going to include that signature. If not, you can go ahead and add it either into the template or to the body of the email here. And then you would click send. And that's going to send it out to all 100 of those people. Same thing with your mass texting. Let's go ahead and select our clients. You're going to do mass text. And where it says canned response, that's actually going to be, I don't know why they didn't just refer to it as a template here, but you can see all the text message templates that are existing in your system are going to be here. So you would just select whichever text you wanted to send. You can check it here. Let's say you wanted to also send out a link to an MLS property. You could put the link here as well, and it's going to send that in the text with it. And then you would go ahead and just click send text, and then it's going to send that template to all 100 of those people that you're wanting to send to. Okay, any questions? Or even if you guys want me to go back over something, just let me know. I know I kind of zipped through that pretty quickly.
Devin, that was great. Sounds
okay,
great.
I'm not seeing any questions coming in at the moment. I'm going to do just a quick little 5-minute review of what we just talked about. So again, Smart Campaigns. You're going to find that in your marketing autopilot here, and you're going to click on Start a Campaign to view your library. And I think there was a question there. Yeah, and Daphne says it might be a good way to get the word out of a price improvement, etc. Definitely, you would be able to go in and do that mass text, and you could send out that MLS link. But yeah, it's definitely a good way to get out word of pretty much anything. Or I've seen people use it in our office if they're holding like a appreciation event or some sort of neighborhood or community info that they want to distribute to their contacts. They do that as well. So yeah, you can use it a ton of different ways, but definitely price improvements, this would be a good way to get the word out to your contacts. Okay, so Smart Campaigns, we're going to go to our library by clicking Start a Campaign. And once that library loads, we're going to select the campaign that we want to work in. So I'm going to click this top one right here. From here, you're able to delete out touch points by clicking on this X and selecting yes, remove. You can edit the timing and the name of your templates by clicking on edit. And you can see you're giving it a name that makes sense to you. And you are selecting, since this is a task reminder, we can't get as specific as hour 4. I'll select one that we can do that though. Let's see. So again, we can rename this in a way that makes sense to us in our campaign, that makes it easy for us to determine what is happening on that date and time. For me, I typically tend to stick with the template name just because it makes it a little easier in my mind to say it's exactly this template and that's what's going out. We can view the template here. And you can select the day or the hour, or I think it even gives you the minutes. I have not seen anyone use the minutes feature, but you can certainly do that if you want. Once that all looks good, you click update. Pretty much anywhere in this KB core system where you see a green button at the bottom right, that's going to be equal to you saving that action that you just did. Okay, so then one more time, to add or create a template or to edit an existing template, you'll flip over to your template library. To add a new one, you're going to go to this green button, click your drop down, and then you'll see the different options you have here. Or you can navigate through your template library this way, and you can clone ones that exist that are Weicker created, or if you see one that you have created in the past, and let's just see if I can find that one I just made. You'll notice a slight difference in those ones, and that you can also go through and edit that to differentiate it. Or you can, if you want to have this template stay in your campaigns the way it is, but edit it a little bit differently so that you can use it in different ways, you could clone it and then have a copy of it. Again, you can just edit it also if you want. Just by clicking on the edit button, you can go in and make any changes you'd like. And the green button at the bottom right-hand corner is going to be how you're saving. Okay, and back to our CRM. Again, just a little bit of quick review. In order to mass email, we are going to select our clients by either selecting them individually. You can see, obviously, I'm not able to select these ones that are private leads, but if they were my own leads, again, that's not an issue you'll have as an agent because you shouldn't have any showing up like this, but you could either select them one by one just by ticking the box next to their name, or you could do this checkbox to everyone, and then mass email, select your template. And the same exact thing with mass text, you're just going to select your clients, pick your template, insert your MLS ID if it applies, and then click on send text. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it there. I don't see any additional questions coming into the chat at this point in time. But again, like I said, if you have any questions about this or still confused, for the next week, you can still reach out to me after this. After that, Jacinta will be more than happy to answer any questions that you do have. And just as an FYI, we do have a Smart Campaign, a worksheet. So if you were wanting to build out a custom Smart Campaign, and maybe it's beneficial to you to write things down, maybe you're a list maker, it makes more sense to you to write everything out before you get to the computer end of things. In our office intranet, which I will type the link into our chat box, you can access, we have a Smart Campaign worksheet that will allow you to build out your Smart Campaigns in sort of a logical way. Sorry, I'm getting the link typed in here. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this already, but you can go to this link in the chat if you have any desire to create your own Smart Campaign and would like a worksheet to do that. Yeah, but other than that, I will talk to you guys soon. I believe next week Jacinta is going to be holding the training. So if you guys have anything that you would like to learn, definitely let us know, preferably by tomorrow, so we can prepare something for you guys for next week. Yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. All right, bye guys.
Good stuff as always.